everyone. Welcome to this new episode of the India InsurTech Podcast. Today we have with us Sri, who's the founder and CEO of Charlee.ai. Welcome to the podcast, Sri.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'd love to get started by getting to know you a little bit, Sri, and also getting to know what Charlee.ai does.
So, I'll start with my background. I've got 22 years of experience in the world of data analytics, starting with the banking industry and then in the insurance industry. I've spent about 18 plus years out of the 22 in the insurance industry. My background actually started with hotel management, and then I moved to doing retail sales in Samsung when I was there in India. And then I moved from there to go to Australia to do my master's in IT and changed my line from there and got into database more. So just while I was in Samsung, actually, I was in charge of the showroom and admin, and this was back in the late 90s. They had this box over there in the showroom that said microwaves, and I was asking everybody what is this, and people said they don't know and they don't know what to sell. So it's AI now, I see. It's like little in a box and people don't know how to sell. So I actually really brought that into a context-based selling and sold that. We went more than 180% in sales in the first month. So that context-based selling using data was really my strength there, which when I went to Australia and after I finished my master's, I started a branding company and did the same for a small takeout place. And really that grew a little bit, and then I sold it to somebody. And when I started working in the banking industry, I had that entrepreneurship bug in me somewhere. And then I moved to the insurance industry. And with Charlie, how Charlie was born was when I started working in the insurance industry, I did a lot of legacy transformations here in the United States. And I was taken from the insurance company to go to a software company, which was doing vertical solutions using their analytics products. So there I launched two solutions, one in underwriting and one in claims space. And I was talking to a lot of claims managers who kept pointing to how unstructured the claims world is, and that they have to make financial decisions of the claim. How much should I settle this for? The dollar amounts. It's a very financial transaction. And they were basing this on subjective data. And because it was harder for them to get to that data points in the claim files, because it was very unstructured, some in documents, some in emails, some in third party reports, some in claim notes that the adjusters write. So I took about a 1 month time and read through more than 1,000 claim files. And I came out of that and I said, if there is a way to convert all these unstructured data into structured risk signals and use that as a common denominator to measure price risk, underwrite, and also to service the claims by using the predictive side of it, I think that could solve a lot of problems. That's really how Charlie was born. So, Charlie is an AI based intelligence platform for insurance risks.
Well, insurance is a complex market. You've seen the success of this in the US. What do you think that success was, number one? And number two, how do you want to bring that to India now?
As you very rightly said, it's a regulated industry. India is actually opening up to new general insurance is something that's coming to India now in lot more force than what we saw. Previously, when I was there, it was more life insurance and mostly annuities kind of products, life and annuities, and some healthcare was there. But now I think healthcare is getting more mature, and you're seeing now the general insurance come. So in the US, when we started with this exercise of, okay, let's try and learn as much as we can from the insurance claims data. So what we started doing is anonymizing the data and just removing the noise out of that and bringing just the what we call as the facts of loss of the claim, which I don't think is very geographically dependent at
There,
all. A claim is a claim. If the claim happens to your home or to your car or to your bike or whatever it is, it's going to be some kind of a physical damage, some kind of a bodily injury. and our bodies are the same pretty much. So in that sense, there's a lot of common elements. What we kept in mind from a regulatory aspect is, you're very rightly, when you asked me the question, was accuracy alone enough? No, it was not, because we knew we are in a regulatory industry. And one of my co-founders actually led the fraud division in California Department of Insurance, wrote several of the regulations. So it was very important for us to, first of all, learn the signals anonymously and take those signals and use them in our predictive models so that we can predict better, but not just predict, also be able to use that as a baseline to explain the predictions and the insights. So that is really what was very successful for us. Two things that, in the platform we were very adamant about were, the first is to collect those signals across. So we have gone through more than 65 million claims at this point, which is more than which is more than like the 1/5 of the industry data, and mostly, what we call as a general insurance, but across all coverage types, which covers bodily injury, physical damage, and everything. And the second thing that was very important in the platform for us before we actually took it mainstream and started selling was the language itself, the language model. Even before OpenAI and all these companies came out with the natural language or the English language models, we had come out with a claims language model. So we had a lot of taxonomies and a lot of things that were put in that could understand the language, that could understand different ways in which people document claims, facts of loss, and also different ways in which the regulations, the state regulations play. So these are the two things I would say made us very successful in not just focusing on the accuracy. We wanted the accuracy to be anywhere between 75 to initially about from 70 to about 80%. And that's what we got. But more so, the success factor was because of the explanations from day one.
Well, this is interesting because you're creating these predictive models, and you see a lot of fear around human judgment and humans being out of the loop. What's your opinion on the human in the loop models and whether they're a strength or a limitation to the insurance industry, considering that you're automating a bunch of these things?
I would definitely think the human in the loop is the advantage. And the reason I say that is because we are using AI to automate a lot of this intelligence gathering process and intelligence distribution process. How do you like get that intelligence to the right person at the right time? And how do you collect the intelligence once, people have had a different kind of a claim or have had, different experiences in the claim, whether it's a policyholder's experience or the adjuster's experience or the underwriter's experience or a third party person that's helped on that claim, whether it's their experience. You kind of collect all that and bring what is important to claim handling and what really contributes to an objective decision making process. And I think that can be definitely augmented and enriched, with AI. But once you get that in your hand, what is it that you do with that? Like,
Mm.
how quickly can you actually get to the customer and spend more time with the customer on the phone or pick up the phone and be with the customer for, at the time of loss, during that most difficult time. So spending more time on that, understanding where you can upsell, and that's a bad word, but I would say that is important because if you think about what insurance really is, it's about the fear of risk, right? It is the you learn from the exposure, you know that this could happen. But what here we are doing by learning from actual claims is you're saying this is an actual risk that could happen to you because it has happened to someone else. And I think to learn from that and have a human service that, price that is definitely
Mm.
the way forward. There are a lot of things you can automate around this process of intelligence gathering and intelligence distribution, but the face to face and the
Mm.
touch points, the human touch points of delivering this to
Yeah.
the actual policyholder should be a human.
Oh, this is actually fantastic. I see there are two things you've said. One is the relationship remains a relationship. And then the other parts around the claim can all be made available to the customer using AI in a more intelligent fashion. Uh,
Exactly.
what I've
And that's the
also,
commonality I see with what we did for the US market and easily leverageable in the Indian market.
yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. Tell us a little bit about your early learnings on how you approach building AI for claims. Now, it's a very specific niche. A lot of AI companies are building for the sales part of it, the distribution part of it, perhaps the underwriting and the operations part of it. Tell us some learnings that you've had while building, AI for claims. And, of course, maybe also touch upon explainability and trust as well.
Claims insurance in general is like a hub for data. It's like
Yeah,
big data in itself. It's like
that's right.
huge big data. And if you I can't even think about the Indian market, like when you start distributing that general insurance to people, like literally everybody has a bike. Everybody has a bike, and nowadays everybody has a car. So from that sense, data was always the most interesting to me. That was my
Mm.
career all my life, and I love data and I love patterns. So it was a no-brainer for me when I first started in insurance from banking, when I moved from banking to insurance. On day three, I told my boss, I don't think I'm going to last here for more than like a week. This is like so boring, so slow. And my manager told me at that time, she's like, Shri, if you like data, you're going to be here for a long time. So I think the credit goes to her for recognizing that I love data, and this is a very data rich industry. And this is also an industry which is very exciting because it literally has the limits and also tells you from a regulation standpoint what you can and cannot do with the data. So, in some sense, the outcomes should be, and you can
Mm.
stick to that. And what I'm saying is, how you apply that AI is not limitless, but what you can apply it on with that variety of data that you have is limitless, because that is huge amounts of data sets, which is quite exciting to learn from. It's all about data. But it's also exciting when you come to the other part of how you apply that to an industry that is regulated, that is telling you that here are the limitations. In sales, and when you look at sales and other use cases, there is a process they follow, and people collect that data. It's kind of exciting, but it's also very much a relationship building, and there is limited data. But insurance, I feel, is very data rich, has numerous use cases, has a lot of things that you can learn from. And when it comes to application, you can kind of build upon slowly because you know what the limitations are, which can be good and bad at times. But I think that's what it is to us. That's kind of the ground rules we always stuck to is you need to have that explainability. And how do you get explainability? The explainability comes when you stick to the facts of loss. So now how do I get the facts of loss? The facts of loss from, let's say, you pick from one auto accident is not going to be enough. So you have to look at that one auto accident, but you have to look at maybe 10,000, maybe a million of those, and then understand why are two claims which have exactly similar kind of losses but have different outcomes. What are the reasons for those different outcomes? Then you start learning all those patterns and trends across for all these similar kind of accidents or similar kind of losses. And that's where the explainability starts to come.
Got it. All right. I think this has been very interesting to hear from you on how you're, building AI and how you're leveraging AI and claims as a use case. I think we're really glad to have spoken with you today, and I'm sure our ecosystem, our members will learn a lot from the conversation as well. From our side, we of course wish you the best luck and wish you the best ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.